Alright, so it's been a few months since the release of Mario Maker 2, so today's discussion will be about a game update and if it needs it. I strongly believe that it does need one. When it comes to the gaming industry, I'm not a big fan of games that are constantly updated to give it like a sense of worth after it basically launched with nothing, and I'm looking at you Battlefront 2 with that statement. However, conversely, updates to a game that are like a game that's already complete, a game that's already great, like updates to that can complement and enhance that greatness. A good example of that would be Smash Ultimate and how it's added like new modes and features for free alongside the paid DLC fighters. Content like that can keep the hype train going, and while some games don't need it, other games do, and a living and breathing game like Mario Maker, which relies on community interest and feedback, relies on the hype train. Look at my channel and you'll know that I was riding that hype train. It was my most anticipated game since Smash, and it delivered, yet I quickly fell off through a mix of like YouTube burnout and a growing disinterest for just playing the game in general. Mario Maker 2 brought in a lot of new features such as 3D World, but at the same time I feel like it missed a few key aspects that would have grounded the game in a better light and kept things rolling. For me, the game simply didn't feel all that fun. The amount of garbage levels is insane, and that's kind of expected, but there doesn't seem to be any reason to bother or waste your time on levels like that. Endless Challenge, I do think, is a downgrade compared to 100 Man from the original Maker, where there was a clear end goal and a clear victory. Like Endless is pretty boring to play on the lower difficulties because it's just brainless, and on the harder difficulties like Super Expert, it's super hard to just get anywhere without skipping a bunch. The Endless Challenge also isn't that favorable to watch, like on YouTube, and the amount of Mario Maker content I've like consumed on YouTube has gone down considerably in the past few months. And I didn't really mean to, but it just kind of happened, and I guess it just goes to show that it's not as interesting. And plus, when you're playing Endless, there's like no real rewards outside of the stupid costumes for your Mii, so maybe a better reward system might give you some incentive to play. I feel like Mario Maker 2 needs an update or updates if it is going to bring back people and cultivate its fan base in the long term. While the core player base will always be there, as it does with any game, I feel like Mario Maker 2 is losing traction fast. At least in my personal experience and with the people I talk to and like surround myself with, Mario Maker 2 is super anticipated, but then seems to be growing in a disinteresting light very fast. While other community games such as like Smash or solo experiences like Tropical Freeze are constantly interesting, despite update or not. Perhaps something about the quality of the Mario Maker levels is deterring, or just the overbearing quantity of them is too impossible to complete. If I were to update Mario Maker 2, I'd do what a lot of people feel like I think that what they want, and I would add 100 Mario Challenge back into the game. I think Endless could stay in that 2 modes would be fine. Choice is one of the most important human traits that we have, so being able to choose from 2 different modes would add variety, and it would be nice, and then the more interesting challenge would be played by the fans. I think the most important thing to add though would be some sort of level progression or a world map. It doesn't have to be a detailed map builder where you construct the layout of hills and trees, like draw out the path of your levels. That would be really cool. It would almost be ideal, and a lot of people would like it. But I would personally just be fine if it was just like a straight line, sort of like the Mario Challenge, like it's just a straight line on a random background. It doesn't need to be fancy. We just simply need the ability to link levels that we create together to create our own worlds or experiences. The problem with Mario Maker is that each level exists in a void. You can title it 1-1 and you can title the next one 1-2, but it truly isn't that, and players can't enjoy the full experience of your minigame or of your world without going through menus and typing in codes or just like scrolling through your profile, and it kind of detaches you from the experience that you're trying to make. The ability to just lock levels that you create into a world map and to create a grander and more intriguing experience would be really cool, and would have a lot of people trying to complete the most games that people create, or the coolest games that people create, or the hardest ones. As someone who is working on a series of levels within the game, this feature would have been amazing for like bringing it all together. And I think there needs to be more enemies. Boomerang Bros are on the thumbnail, and I won't lie because I added them because I think like they need to be added the most. Like they're my number one go for enemies for the game. But also inconsistencies within the game hurt Mario Maker. Like for example, Fryer Bros, they exist within SMB3 and New Soups, and they could easily be made into the other original styles, but for some reason they're only in 3D World, and that's really disappointing because Fire Bros are like a super cool enemy, and a great addition to the Mario Maker like engine, yet their existence is limiting within itself. Like Mario Maker 2 is about freedom and creativity, yet random limitations for random styles like this really get in the way in creating the levels that you want to make. We got red Yoshi and that's cool, but it's also disappointing because we didn't get blue and yellow Yoshi, or baby Yoshis. Like, it just feels like they're like scraping the surface and not really going down deep with what they could be adding. And for example, like power-ups, like the acorn suit, frog suit, mini mushroom, mega mushroom, like there's just stuff that they're not adding. All in all, Mario Maker 2 is in no way an incomplete game, but it is a living game that relies on community input, and therefore it needs the food and fuel to keep on running with a healthy size of a player base. I don't know the exact numbers, but I wouldn't be surprised if there was a large drop in like weekly players after August because of the constant heart garbage and just no real rewards. It doesn't seem that appealing to play unless you're super into it. Mario Maker 2 markets itself as creating your own Mario experiences, but you create microcosms, little universes, like little levels that exist by themselves, when we really want to create a macrocosm, but they won't let us string levels together to create a bigger experience. In both Mario Maker 1 and 2, a lot of features were absent, like from what they have in the normal games, like the ones that Nintendo themselves make. And it seems like they don't want to give us all of that power, because I feel like they worry that some people will make stuff better than that they ever could if they had all the options. And for this reason, I don't think we might ever get the good features that we want, such as more bosses, blocks, power-ups, etc. I'm Morton's Castle, and I've been branching out to Minecraft videos recently, so subscribe if you're interested in that. And as always, I'll stay on top of Smash, Mario Maker, and other Nintendo news, as well as other things in movies and gaming. So, see you around.